Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Movie Night here on Random Trek. I am your fearless captain who loves his mama, Christopher Ingle. Joined as always by my first officer, the man who has been known to get writer's block on more than one occasion. It's Commander Brennan, the mystical Mar. Brennan, how we doing?
I love my mama too.
I know you do. I have met your mama, and she's a very lovely lady. Not like the lady in this film.
Tomorrow is my parents' wedding anniversary.
Aww.
So, 42 years, so.
Wow. And they are awesome.
Yes. Indeed.
Oh, they remind me of Worf's parents, the Rozhenkos.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, today we are taking a look at the dark comedy Throw Momma from the Train. This is not the normal film we try to watch when we connect to Star Trek. Now, is it, Brennan?
No, it is not.
No, but for the year of the captain, I wanted to do something that was Kate Mulgrew. And Kate Mulgrew does have a filmography, but I picked this one. This one has a place in my heart because it was on TV all the time when I was a kid. So I saw this a lot growing up. And I wanted to share in the joy. And today, our special guest, we are joined by the ship's counselor, my wife, Lisa, who I forced her to watch this when I watched it actually about 3.5 weeks ago. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, honey.
All right. So let's, we're going to go in it. Actually, normally I turn the con over to Brennan, but because he had never seen this, he asked me to go ahead and take charge for this one, which I will. So, I'm going to go to Lisa. Do you remember watching this when you were younger at all?
I think I saw it once.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't on all the time when I was a kid.
Ah. What did you think of it in your younger self looking back? Because it is such a weird, dark movie.
Yeah, that's definitely, it was dark. I was like, what? Really?
Yeah, this was my introduction to Danny DeVito, truthfully, as a director. And of course, we'll talk about DeVito, but I would see DeVito more later in more common things like Batman Returns, Matilda, things I watched a lot of. But this is the one I remember with him directing it right away. So, Brennan, this was your first time ever seeing this film. Give us your initial thoughts on this film.
It's dark and unpleasant.
It is a little unpleasant, but so at times can be Hitchcock.
It's true.
Yes. So let's get into the plot of this story. So this film, it does take on actually the basic premise of Hitchcock's classics, Stranger on the Train. In fact, it references Stranger on a Train in the actual film and turns it into this dark comedy. How familiar do you think audiences need to be with Hitchcock and the plot of the original film to appreciate the humor that DeVito's trying to create in this film?
I don't think you need to see Strangers on a Train to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Throw Momma from the Train lays it out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the basic idea without needing to see the original film.
And you and I are big Hitchcock fans. We've seen Strangers on a Train before.
Oh, yeah.
Side note, I showed my daughter for the very first time Rear Window in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Because I'm on a Jimmy Stewart kick. I saw the trailer for the new Jimmy Stewart biopic, and I'm really excited to see it. But, that being said, Lisa, are you at all familiar with Strangers on a Train? Have you actually seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, then in that case, for this film, at its core, we're dealing with a story of two very unhappy men. And they are fantasizing about solving their problems one way or another through murder. We've got one man who is a writer, and he's got writer's block, but he wrote one thing, but it was stolen by his vicious, evil ex-wife. And we've got another man who's got the mother, literally, of all mama issues. The plot is so simplistic to it, and it really lends itself to bringing in these kooky, crazy ideas. And what I really like about this is not a ha-ha funny dark comedy. This is a film that actually kind of brings a little bit of suspense and a little bit of comedy in with both of our characters. So let's talk about its cast, because I think that's where its real heart is. So it stars Billy Crystal as writer and writing teacher Larry Donner. Crystal, for this one, for me, he really serves as like a surrogate for us, reacting to the absurd situations that are around him. He is definitely the Bert to Bert and Ernie, of this pair of individuals. Brendan, what did you think of Billy Crystal as the sort of straight man in this film?
I mean, Billy Crystal is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
In pretty much anything he does.
Yep.
And I think he makes a pretty good straight man here.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not the one that we get the humor from.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting torture for him. But yet he still has some of that, when Harry met Sally kind of energy.
Yeah.
And I think he works quite well here.
I can't help but think that he later becomes an inspiration for Richard Dreyfuss's character in What About Bob, done by another dark comedy director.
Good point.
There are a lot of similarities I noticed between this film and What About Bob.
Yeah.
So many. And then, of course, is only as good as his opposite, and that's Danny DeVito, who also directs this film. We'll talk about his directorial style, and this is his directorial debut. He plays Owen Lift. So DeVito is a character that really comes off as pathetic starting out. He is pathetic. He is dangerous, and yet we kind of feel for him. We get scenes with him regularly before even the plot goes into it of his interaction with his mama. And we can see he's irritated with it, and we don't entirely blame him. I feel like Owen could have easily been a very one-note character, but DeVito actually gives him a lot of depth and sympathy. Lisa, what did you think of Danny DeVito and his character in here?
I think I would have wanted to kill his mom, too. I don't think I could have handled it. That woman was obnoxious.
We gotta be respectful to her. She helped find the Goonie treasure.
That's true.
Well, she may have helped find the Goonie treasure, but she was obnoxious in that movie, too.
We'll get into her in a second. But DeVito, what I really love is it absolutely is the comedy, and he is kind of the perpetuating force in this, because he comes up with the idea without realizing he comes up with the idea. Billy Crystal is irritated with his life and his ex-wife, and he's frustrated, and he is trying to also at some point get a little something with another professor at the college, and accidentally says something to Danny DeVito that makes him think, hey, I need to help this guy and he'll help me. We have the same problem. And he sets off to go to Hawaii to go kill Billy Crystal's ex-wife. We're going to get to the ex-wife in it. She's not in it a lot, but she's important because she is our captain. But we have to talk about the namesake of this film, the Momma, Anne Ramsey as Mama Lift.
Indeed. This
woman is the reason I remember this film. Her voice, her grating, her irritation. It's almost like Cartman from South Park. Like, it's just this grating that you remember it. And every scene she is in, she steals it.
Absolutely.
100%. And she functions in a way as the villain and antagonist of the film, even though she's not. You know, with the dark comedy, in reality, it's kind of Owen. Owen is actually, he is a protagonist and an antagonist at exactly the same time. And the relationship between Owen and Momma is so uncomfortable, but she just drives it home. As a matter of fact, she was nominated for an Oscar for this film.
Yes, she was.
And we talk about how comedies getting recognition for Oscar almost never happen, let alone in the acting categories. It just doesn't happen. You know, and it didn't win, but just to be nominated, you know, that's amazing.
Well, I mean, the winner was Olympia Dukakis, so, you know.
Oh, I love her. I love her in Mr. Holland's Opus. She's
yes.
one of my inspirations as a teacher. She truly is like, I like that. Anyway, that's another film we'll talk about in the future.
And Moonstruck.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Moonstruck. You're right. Snap out of it. Anyway, that's not her, but
Yeah.
remember that.
Close enough.
But yeah, she really is the driving force in this film. And, you know, she's not even like an active aggressor. She's just like this old woman who loves and relies on her son, but is a little like the doting mother, but in all the aggressively wrong ways.
And wants her son to do everything for her.
Yes. You know, and their history is what I'm really focused on. And I don't know what it is. There isn't any. But it's a fascinating point with these characters. And I feel like Anne Ramsey gives so much depth to something that can be very simple. There's anger, there's aggression. But I do feel like there's love there. In a weird, twisted way. But only in a Danny DeVito dark comedy could you get this. But then again, we also have our only other supporting cast to focus on, and that is our captain, Kate Mulgrew. Kate Mulgrew has a couple scenes, and she also, every moment, she's regal, she's lovely. She plays Billy Crystal's ex-wife.
Oh, my word.
And every time she is on screen doing something, it's just like, I want to kill her. I can't stand this woman.
And that's crazy, because we love her as Captain Janeway.
Yeah, like when she's on Oprah. Oh, she's obnoxious.
Yes.
So I believe she stole this story from Billy Crystal. I absolutely believe it. 100%.
Special guest appearance from Oprah.
It is, yeah, well, Oprah in her heyday. And then, you know, when Danny DeVito's waiting to kill her and he's in the, and she's with the pool boy.
Oh my God.
Gosh, that is so awkward. And yet I love Danny DeVito just laying there, pushing the phone back, pulling the magazine and just reading it. Like, all right, I gotta wait, I guess. It's so funny and awkward, and she just plays into these scenes. And it's so opposite what we come to expect from Kate Mulgrew in Voyager, and then later even in Orange is the New Black. It's so different.
Yeah, true.
Lisa, what did you think of Kate Mulgrew's appearance in here? I know you're a Janeway fan.
Oh, I love Janeway, but it gives credit to her character in what she's able to do, because if she can make you hate her as much as she can make you love her, she's good at her job.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And
that says something about a good actor or actress.
You know, and what I love here too is when you compare Momma and Kate Mulgrew's character. I really can't remember her name. The ex-wife. I hate them both. I absolutely dislike them both severely. They are obnoxious in their own different ways. And, you know, while Kate Mulgrew, I think she keeps sticking it to Billy Crystal, even though she never says she does. She never says anything about her ex-husband except once on Oprah. In front of the world, she says something. But otherwise, she doesn't even talk about Billy Crystal. And at the same time, Momma is loving and yet tormenting her son at the same time. I don't know who I dislike more. Or who had the bigger challenge. I can't even take it. But I love the performances from the women here as supporting cast. But where this really comes in to, I think, its strength besides the acting is in the writing and direction. And this is something that DeVito has come to know down the line. Danny DeVito loves directing dark comedies. One of my absolute favorites is Death to Smoochie with Robin Williams and Edward Norton.
Yes.
Classic dark comedy, very raunchy, very dirty, but so good.
One can
Great.
even argue that Matilda's a dark comedy.
In a way, it kind of is. Yeah, in a more fantastical kind of way. But I love how the screenplay transforms this classic thriller into a comedy, but it doesn't lose any of the tension. You're going from moment to moment. Is Owen going to do it? Is he going to kill his mama? I love the little fantasy moments in Owen's mind where he goes to kill his mama, and then he doesn't. Owen loves his mama. You know, stuff like that. And then Billy Crystal, same thing. There's tension about whether he's going to be able to do it or not. Or when he gets mad at Owen, what's he going to do? So, for a comedy, the tension is still there. It's, I would argue, it's not a great adaptation, but it is a fair adaptation of the Hitchcock classic. From a writing standpoint.
In its own twisted way.
Yeah. And I think the humor of this dark comedy isn't in jokes. It is the interactions between our characters. That's what really makes this. The awkwardness. We feel it. We laugh awkwardly because we're watching these people suffer. You know, Billy Crystal out on the ledge when he was like, just go in through the window. And it's so awful. Or the ending sequence on the train and having to deal with that. You know, it's tense, it's awkward, it's fun. Really fun. And the dialogue between them feels so natural despite the ridiculous situations that we're in. Again, another testament to the writing for this film. The film was written by Stu Silver, who did this. He did work on Bosom Buddies, Soap, but he also wrote the first half of Good Morning Vietnam for Robin Williams. And I think he does a fairly competent job, which, again, considering what we're basing this off of, it's not bad from that standpoint.
I can't think of any other movie quite like this.
It's unique. It's so different. You know, and yet it continues in its writing to build suspense while still generating those laughs. And it often relies very heavily on irony. You know, characters often create the very problem that they're trying to solve. Billy Crystal can't get over his writing block. He's blaming it all on his ex-wife. Man, I'd like the ex-wife dead. His own words create the very situation that needs to happen. You know, and sets it up. And that's kind of where it's almost Shakespearean in a way. In a very tragic, comedic kind of way.
Very 80s.
Very 80s, yes.
Now, this is very 80s. So my question is, does this kind of humor still work for a modern audience, even though this film is now coming close to 40 years old? Lisa?
I find it funny, but in obviously in a very dark way. But I don't know if kids today or young adults today would find it as funny as, say, we did.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd have to have the right sense of humor.
Yeah, it's so funny to go back to the 80s. Particularly in, like, family films.
Mm-hmm.
And go, no way can you get away with that in a movie today.
And this definitely is not a family film. I mean, I saw it on broadcast TV where it's cleaned up a lot. But Billy Crystal's character he's a little grating at times. His whininess about, I can't write. And now we've all had writer's block. But he takes it one step further sometimes. And then the way he treats the other professor, and where it's almost like he's using her as a way to feel better and, to overly sexualize her. And he's kind of not a good guy.
There aren't really a lot of good people in this movie.
There really aren't. And Danny DeVito is no different. I would say Danny DeVito's character is a little more innocent, and he definitely comes off that way. He comes off like a child eager to please. He kept asking Billy Crystal, "Did you read my paper? What did you think of my paper? Why didn't you read my paper? Should you read my paper? Are you going to kill my mama? Did you come kill my mom?" It's like he's asking questions like he's a fifth grader.
It's
Do you want to see my coin collection?
Oh, yes.
Yes, and then I'm going to spoil the film, whatever. The ending, Billy Crystal finally writes his book based on the adventures that he just had, and it's great, it's wonderful. And then he finds out that Owen wrote a book that is exactly the same thing, except it's a pop-up book for kids. Yay! I mean, pop-up book. I mean, it is so innocent, so childlike. And it takes a special kind of person with that innocence to be able to do things like pop-up books. Pop-up books are hard to make because it is both a writing medium and a visual medium that you have to put together instantly. And I think it takes an innocent person, and he does that. But yeah, the writing of these characters, putting even though they're kind of irritating on their own, their interactions with each other, the dialogue with each other, it all somehow melds together in a comedy that works. Yeah. And we have to talk about DeVito's direction, because that's what makes this film. And in the same way that I look at a Tarantino film and know a Tarantino film, or the same way I look at a Scorsese film and know a Scorsese film, DeVito's films kind of are the same way, or even a Tim Burton film. You just watch it, And so this was his first, and he really displays a confidence in visual storytelling, despite this being a comedy. It's all about the scenery. Was it his second directorial film?
Indeed, yes.
What was his first?
I can't remember.
I'm going to go look it up now is what I'm doing. I thought it was his there it is. Okay, filmography. Thank you. That's not as a actor. Okay. That's television, theater, as a director. Short film. Hold on. Short film. This was his first theatrical feature-length film. That's why. Okay.
Interesting.
The others were, he did 3 short films, a television film, and then another short film, and then this was the first one.
Oh, okay.
But he would follow up this with The War of the Roses. Not a real comedy, not in a traditional sense. It is a black comedy, but very different. And then into the biographical drama Hoffa, which I love, and that's for another day, but he goes on to that, and I'm really impressed. Anyway, but yeah, his style is just so different and so unique and dark, and it creates this tone of consistency.
Well,
you know
what's interesting? The camera angles
mm-hmm.
on Anne Ramsey as Momma are just like the camera angles on the evil teacher in Matilda.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same angle. The same...
And when we think about Owen as an innocent, it kind of makes sense. Because the kids in Matilda, same thing. When you compare it to the Trunchbull.
Yes, the Trunchbull.
Mm-hmm.
It almost creates a larger-than-life image.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a unique style.
Yeah. And he really looks at some very dark subjects here. Murder, abuse, revenge, failure. They're dark subjects. And yet he manages to keep the film entertaining and funny, while not going too far into the dark. It's dark, of no doubt, where Frank Oz with What About Bob goes so far into the I'm uncomfortable feeling. And I also think that Bill Murray had something to do with that. This film doesn't do that. I'm uncomfortable, but not enough that I want to turn away. I keep watching. So how do you think DeVito was able to prevent the story from becoming too dark? Lisa?
I think mainly he managed to keep your attention and kept you laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the main thing, is he kept you laughing.
And I think, like Momma, every time she's on screen, Anne Ramsey is so entertaining that she's just a blast to watch.
She's so great in this. And she's actually not in it as much as I remember it.
It's just that she stands out. She really does.
Absolutely, 100%. And this isn't long after Goonies. So,
Yeah.
you know, she was still going through the 80s.
And now that you made that comparison with Cartman, that's all I'm going to be hearing for the rest of my life.
I'm sorry.
Is Momma is Cartman.
It is, though, but, like, you listen to his voice. Oh, I love his mama. It's Cartman.
Yeah,
It's Cartman.
Cartman is an old lady.
Yes.
And she's funny, too. If you pay close enough attention to her, she is hilarious. Like her pushing Billy Crystal through the door.
Yes.
And down into the cellar.
Oh my word.
That alone was hilarious.
And just
it
her...
was a richly deserved Oscar nomination.
Yeah, and I think unexpected. I definitely think that was the unexpected of it.
Yes.
Yeah. But his visual style, too, you mentioned the camera placement. He also does a lot of really good visual references to the Hitchcock films. Like, for example, when Owen is talking with Billy Crystal about the idea. Billy Crystal is getting frisky on a toy train with his girlfriend. But this, again, strangers on a train. The references are there, and there are other visual cues. It's not shot for shot by any means, but there are other things that he uses. And also, one of the funniest things, it still gets me every time, is the use of payphones. Now, for those who are listening who have no idea what a payphone is, we didn't have cell phones growing up. We had these magical things called payphones, where you put a quarter in and you could talk to someone. So in this film, Owen keeps calling Billy Crystal's character every few seconds from a payphone, but he doesn't want to get caught by the police, so he hangs up in case people are listening, and then Billy Crystal gets a call back almost instantly, and Owen's in a different spot every time. I love this gag. And the camera work on this in the editing, too, going back and forth, and just Owen in the different spots is so funny. It's so hilarious, because then you're like, where's he going to be next?
Yep, at a pineapple payphone.
It's a pineapple payphone. And the film moves very quickly. He keeps the pace going fast. I don't really can't think of any wasted scenes. Every sequence either builds relationships between the characters or advances the plot. That's hard to do in some cases for some directors.
Or
even Hitchcock wasn't...
Or it's character development.
Exactly. Even Hitchcock himself, at times, has slow moments. Now, sometimes that slow burn is on purpose. Think Psycho. There are slow burn moments in Psycho that are on purpose. But there are a lot of films that he did where it's like, all right, let's pick it up just a little bit. We could do that. We could pick it up. DeVito in this film does not have that problem at all. It moves at a reasonable pace. It builds everything, and everything has purpose. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it does.
So this film, too, unlike a lot of other films where we talk about the spectacle, this doesn't have a lot of spectacle spectacle to it. It's a very simplistic film. The music was done by one of the Newmans, David Newman. And this is, again, another one of those where it's not a matter of the music is memorable, but the music moves things along appropriately. And I really enjoy that. The tension builds. Everything works together with Newman's music. Lisa, what did you think of Newman's music?
I wasn't really paying attention to it, so it must have made the movie work.
Brennan?
Same thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I think the main spectacle from this comes from, well, and we've talked about it, Anne Ramsey's presence, her performance. That obnoxious voice, the absurdity that she goes through towards her son. We're often anticipating what outrageous things is Momma gonna do next. It's really enjoyable. And then, of course, the visual homages to Hitchcock. And this really comes to where everything coming together builds a fun film to watch. Is it a great film? No. Not by any means, but I remember it a lot because of Momma and her, as her contribution to the spectacle. I'm curious, Lisa, what scene do you think best represents this film's unique blend of comedy and suspense?
Her screaming hanging off the train.
Oh, at the ending?
Yeah. Well, towards the ending, anyway.
Yeah. Brennan?
Yeah, I think that scene really does that, and also the scene with Momma and Billy Crystal's character.
Yes, definitely.
With him falling down the stairs on the door.
He gets hit a lot.
It's a hilarious scene.
Falls off the train, gets knocked down the stairs, gets hit by Momma, yeah.
Gets hit with a frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He gets abused.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's, by any means, this film, I've said it, it's not a great film. But I remember it. I remember it fondly. And now looking at it with a little more of an academic eye, I see its merits. To be able to create a dark comedy in the style and to do it rather successfully is a challenge. And I think overall, DeVito is able to do that. So this film, it was made on a budget at the time of $14 million and earned a box office of $58 million. Now, at the time, that's not horrible. That's not horrible at all. That was a pretty good haul in the 80s. It was considered a commercial success for Orion Pictures, and a lot of people praise the chemistry between DeVito and Crystal, but really highlighting that unforgettable performance by Momma, her best supporting actress, of course. And it wasn't just the Oscar. She was also nominated for the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress, I believe a Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress. And Danny DeVito would also receive a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. So clearly it had its fans. I'm not sure if this is your kind of film, Brennan, but I'm going to ask. Does this make you a fan?
Well, I don't know about the film. But certainly, if I wasn't already a fan of Anne Ramsey, this makes me even more of a fan of her.
Mm-hmm.
Mama Fratelli and Momma in this movie are great characters.
Mm-hmm. She did pass away soon after this film, a year after this film. She died in 1988. She did a lot of films going down the line, a lot of TV movies, but I would argue The Goonies really got her recognized. She won a Saturn for Best Supporting Actress for The Goonies, and then we get her in this. She has a brief role in Scrooged in 1988. She did a lot of TV, never received any major notoriety beyond the awards that we talked about, and yet we remember her so much compared to overall. I'm not going to say she did little, but the things we remember her for aren't a lot.
I think most of us from that time era remember her from the Goonies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's 100% Goonies. Goonies, and then this film really are what solidified it. Scrooged, I love Scrooged. Another dark comedy. Of course, that is a Richard Donner film for another day. But yeah, other than that, we don't see a lot of her. And of course, she passes away a year later. Does this movie work without Anne Ramsey's performance? Can Billy Crystal and Danny DeVito carry this all by themselves, or do we need that foil?
We absolutely need her.
I think she's the one that, as Momma, I don't think anybody else could have done it.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else in the 80s who could have done this either. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Well, that's kind of the end of the film there. I mean, it's short and sweet. This is a short film. But I enjoy it. I enjoy Kate Mulgrew in it. I enjoy Anne Ramsey. Really, this is where the cast brings it together. The direction works. It's a simplistic concept, and where I'm not even going to call it a parody. I think it is a loving homage to Hitchcock in of itself, and I bet Hitchcock would have chuckled at it. I think he might have enjoyed it. It's an opinion. Hitchcock obviously died far before this movie came out, but I think he would have actually enjoyed this. And, I think it's a fair companion to a more notable classic that definitely in the future I would love for us to take a look at Strangers on a Train from Hitchcock, among so many others, but definitely a great film. All right. Oh, good.
The great thing about remakes is when they're done right, even if they're not the greatest thing in the world, it's good that they're different.
Well, it does what I really love about films that handle this, and it's not a remake this is not Disney redoing Moana or Cinderella or Jungle Book, although some of those can be some of those can be very good. That's why I more categorize this as an homage. It is a loving homage. I think it's great. The tension's there, the suspense is there, and the joy. How's it going to happen? What's going to occur? The murder's going to happen? How are they going to get away with it? It's fun, and you're laughing along. Even though it's more of an awkward laugh, you're still laughing along, and you're enjoying it. Maybe a little bit of Schadenfreude, but you're enjoying it. All right. Well, next week, we are headed over to Deep Space Nine. And we are in season 6. I can't remember the exact number of the episode, but it is the Julian Bashir-led episode where he tries to help other augments like himself to acclimate. And we discover they have some talents that might be helpful to the war effort. We'll take a look at that next week. Next, in June, end of June, we're going to be taking a look at our next captain, which is going to be Chris Hemsworth, because he was a captain for a few short minutes, but he was a captain. And we're going to take a look at Transformers 1, a companion piece to follow our look at Transformers the movie that we did earlier this season. We're going to have Nico on board and maybe another guest. Have another guest involved to take a look at that film as well. So we've got a lot coming up. I'm really excited. And coming up in July, season 4 of Strange New Worlds is premiering. A lot of good stuff this summer, Brennan.
Indeed.
Brennan, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Brenmore.bluesky.social. Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube at Page Turners. They were not.
You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at CIngle1984. And as always, we end every episode. Kaplah! And live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.